Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're jumping straight into the world of Bibliomancers to really tear apart one single, absolutely game-changing chapter. You're about to see how just a handful of events can completely reshape the future of an entire kingdom. It's going to be a wild ride.
Okay, so we are doing a deep dive into Chapter 63. And I mean every single detail. So this is your official spoiler warning right here, right now. We are going to trace every critical moment, from a pretty devastating betrayal all the way to a political masterstroke that, believe me, changes everything.
All right, so to really get a handle on this whirlwind of a chapter, we're going to break it down into 5 key moments. First up, a princess betrayed. Then, a paladin's confession. After that, we see a deal for a kingdom being made. Then, there's some reparations for a dragon. And finally, the queen's first real victory. Let's get into it. So, let's set the scene. The story kicks off right after this super tense, really unsettling banquet. Princess Maria is back in her room, and she is feeling just completely defeated. But oh man, her night is about to go from just plain bad to absolutely catastrophic. And it's all thanks to her paladin, Ronan.
So here's Maria, right? She's racking her brain, desperately trying to figure out this whole dwarven mining crisis. But she's got nothing. And Ronan, in his infinite wisdom, completely misreads her stress and decides this is the perfect moment to accuse her of flirting with the Thane. I mean, talk about bad timing. This accusation just hits all her deepest insecurities, and yep, a massive argument kicks off.
And this is where the chapter gets seriously bizarre. Ronan pulls out this miniature statue of Maria. It's a perfect little copy of the big one from the banquet. He then explains that this little magical trinket is the real reason the dwarves are so obsessed with her. And then he shows her exactly how it works.
So, Maria presses the statuette's navel, and it speaks. In her own voice. It starts reciting this really complex theological argument that she'd made just a few days ago. The shock is just immediate, because this wasn't some public speech, you know? It was a private conversation. And that's the first horrifying clue that her life isn't really her own anymore.
Then Ronan tells her to pinch the statuette's rear. And what comes out is, well, it's even more disturbing. It's this powerful, private thought she had about consent, spoken out loud in her voice. And here's the truly chilling part. She never actually said those words out loud. Her innermost thoughts have somehow been recorded and frankly weaponized.
The final blow, though, is the most humiliating. Ronan tells her to stroke the figure, and it moans a pornographic line. I mean, just awful. But the worst part, the absolute worst part, is when Ronan reveals that her own allies, her friends, were the ones who added these so-called features to make her more engaging. The betrayal is just, it's total.
So that realization is just crushing. Everyone she trusted has conspired against her. Her friends, her followers, and yes, even Ronan. They haven't just betrayed her. They've turned her very soul into a product, a little toy to be sold. She's completely heartbroken, obviously, and she throws Ronan out. The night just ends in tears.
All right, so, new day. The next morning, the tension from the night before is still just hanging heavy in the air. But this whole conflict, it's about to take a turn that nobody saw coming.
Ronan comes back, but he's not there to apologize. Oh no. He just unleashes all of his own frustrations. He reminds Maria of everything he has sacrificed for her, his faith, his identity, his entire worldview. From his point of view, the statuettes weren't some malicious betrayal. They were a desperate, maybe misguided, attempt to give her the power and the adoration he really felt she deserved.
And then, right at the peak of this huge argument, he just blurts it out. The last thing she ever expected to hear. He's in love with her. It's this raw, totally confused confession. And before Maria can even begin to process what he just said, her dragon ring, you know, her magical lie detector, gives a one-word verdict. Truth. And just like that, in a single instant, everything changes.
Yeah, that one word, truth. It just shatters all the tension. The argument's over, and the two of them, they reconcile, very passionately. And of course, because this is a story, their big reunion is immediately interrupted by their dwarven guide, Runar, walking in at the absolute worst or maybe the best possible moment. Awkward.
Okay, so with all that personal drama finally resolved and their relationship on brand new footing, Maria and Ronan head off to their meeting with the dwarven leader, the Thane.
And this is the big one. The stakes could not be higher.
Maria does not beat around the bush. She gets right to it. She lays out the dragon's ultimatum in no uncertain terms. Stop mining this mountain, or he will burn her father's kingdom to the ground and take the castle for himself. I mean, she's literally putting the fate of her entire homeland right there on the negotiating table.
And the Thane? He doesn't even flinch. He immediately accepts the threat is totally credible. And then, and this is a masterful political pivot, he just changes the subject. See, he's not interested in arguing about the mine. He's interested in Maria's planned coup, and he offers her a dwarven army, backing it up with his classic piece of dwarven wisdom.
Okay, and this is where we see Maria's own genius at work. She offers them compensation for the lost mine, another mine back in her own kingdom. There's just one tiny problem. It's completely blocked by unbreakable mithril. Now, to a human, that mine is worthless. But to a dwarf, oh, you can just see the Thane's eyes light up. He knows dwarves can mine mithril. So he comes back with this incredible counteroffer. His people will work the mine, and they'll pay both her and her kingdom a massive 10% share of the profits. With one single move, Maria just turned a worthless hole in the ground into a source of immense personal and national wealth. Just brilliant.
So, the deal is sealed with a classic dwarven spit shake. And let's just recap what Maria walked away with. She gets everything she wanted and so much more. The dwarves will stop mining, they'll apologize to the dragon with a ton of gold, they'll give her an army for her coup, and they're going to make her and her future kingdom incredibly rich. This is a complete and total diplomatic victory.
But hold on, the deal isn't quite done yet. There's still one very large, very scaly party that needs to be appeased. So the next step is a pretty delicate diplomatic mission up the mountain to formally make peace with the dragon.
And so the peace offering begins. You've got this whole procession, a pack train loaded with 20 chests of gold being led up the mountain. And who's reading it? Chief Engineer Grata, the very dwarf who is responsible for the mistake in the first place. Maria goes ahead, sort of as the vanguard, to make sure the dragon understands that this is reparations, not some kind of invasion.
Chief Engineer Grota delivers this formal, incredibly humble apology. I mean, she takes full responsibility for the whole mess, she offers the gold as payment for the iron they've already taken, and then she even offers her own life to the dragon as penance, if that's what it wants. It's just a really powerful display of dwarven honor.
And that brings us right to the end of the chapter. With the dwarves properly humbled and the dragon satisfied, the alliance is finally solidified. This really is Maria's first true victory as a leader.
The dragon actually accepts the apology. And, in its own grumpy, cantankerous way, it shows some genuine respect for Maria's cleverness. After a little bit of snark, of course, it acknowledges her intelligence and her skill, ending with two words that Maria probably never ever thought she'd hear from this ancient creature. Well done. And that's how Chapter 63 wraps up. I mean, think about it. In a single insane day, Maria's gone from a publicly humiliated girl to a genuine political powerhouse. She's got an army, a fortune, and the loyalty of both dwarves and a dragon. So the only question left to ask is, what does a princess with that much power do next? Thanks for tuning in.